The night my sister dragged me by my hair in front of our entire family and all the guests wasn't the moment I broke. It was the moment I finally woke up. People think betrayal happens quietly, behind closed doors. Mine happened on a decorated stage, under bright lights, while everyone clapped for the wrong person. That night, while my parents watched in silence, my sister tried to humiliate me for the last time. She didn't know Grandma had already handed me the one truth that would burn her whole future down. I thought losing my family would destroy me. Turns out it saved me. And everything that happened next was the beginning of the life they never wanted me to have. My name is Eliana Carter, and I'm 29 years old. And if you want the truth, my family never loved me the way they loved my sister, Emily. I felt it since childhood. Whenever Dad looked at her, his face softened. But when he looked at me, it was always disappointment, like I was some problem he had to deal with. Emily could scream, lie, manipulate, break rules. Dad still called her his angel. Me? I could work hard, stay quiet, be respectful, and still be the difficult one. I remember the day it got worse. Emily started acting different. Colder, secretive, too friendly with the family papers, and too close to Dad's office cabinet. I didn't know it then, but she had already started stealing money from our family accounts, forging signatures, and lying her way into Dad's trust. Dad never saw it. Or maybe he refused to. Every praise he gave her felt like a punch to my chest. Emily is responsible. Emily deserves more. Emily will get everything one day. And me? I was the daughter who shouldn't expect much. But the real shock came a month before her wedding. Mom called me into the living room. Her voice was soft, fake sweet, the tone she used when she wanted something. Eliana, honey, your sister needs help with her wedding expenses. I stared at her. Help? I already covered the venue deposit. Mom sighed dramatically. Well, she needs more. Just sign these papers. It's nothing serious, just some small financial adjustments. Small? When Mom left the room, I looked closely. They weren't small papers. They were property transfer forms. All assets shifted to my sister's name. All future rental income to her. Everything Grandma owned, handed to Emily. My chest tightened. Emily didn't just want Dad's love. She wanted everything else too. And she was stealing it quietly, using Mom and Dad as shields. I went to Dad with the papers. He didn't even look up from his laptop. Eliana, just sign it. Your sister deserves this. She's the one staying close to the family. I whispered, Dad, this is fraud. He glared at me like I insulted his favorite child. Don't you dare accuse your sister. She works hard. You're the one always causing stress. That was the moment I knew. I was alone in that house. Completely alone. Emily passed by me with a smirk, the kind people give when they believe they've already won. You should sign it, Ellie, she whispered. It's not like anything was ever going to be yours. My hands shook, but not from fear. From anger. From a lifetime of being pushed aside. And that anger became the fire that carried me all the way to her wedding. The day everything broke, and everything changed. Because Emily thought Dad's favoritism would protect her forever. She didn't know Grandma had other plans. She didn't know the truth was about to explode in front of everyone. And she definitely didn't know that the moment she touched me on that stage, the real war would begin. The day of Emily's wedding felt wrong the moment I woke up. I stood in front of the mirror, fixing my hair, telling myself not to overthink it. It's just a wedding, Eliana. Go, smile, survive. But deep down, my chest felt tight, like something bad was waiting for me. When I arrived at the venue, everything screamed luxury. White roses, gold chairs, a huge stage set under shimmering lights. Emily wanted a wedding that looked like royalty. And of course, everyone acted like she was royalty. The moment I walked in, heads turned, not in admiration, but in judgment. Aunt Claire whispered loudly. She should have stayed home. Emily said she'd ruin the pictures. I pretended not to hear. I was used to being the outsider in my own family. Dad waved me over, but not to greet me. No smile, no you look nice. Nothing. He leaned in. Eliana, don't start any trouble today. It's your sister's big moment. Trouble? I hadn't said a word. Before I could answer, a soft, warm hand slipped around my arm. Grandma Nora. My only real ally. She leaned close. Don't let them shake you, sweetheart. And keep that envelope safe. We will announce everything at the right moment. That envelope carried the truth, the documents that proved everything still belonged to Grandma and would pass to me, not Emily. My heart thumped. Finally, a moment where I wasn't invisible. Emily appeared from the bridal room a few minutes later, glowing in her dress, surrounded by bridesmaids and cameras. But when her eyes found me, her smile died. She walked straight to me. "What are you doing here?" she hissed under her breath. "Didn't Dad tell you to stay quiet today?" "It's your wedding," I said calmly. "I'm family," she scoffed. "You're only here because Mom insisted. Just don't embarrass me." I wanted to laugh. As if I was the problem, not her fraud, not her greed, not her manipulation. The ceremony started. People ate, laughed, toasted, cheered for Emily's perfect future. Then Grandma Nora stood up, slowly, using her cane. The room went quiet. She tapped the mic. "I have an announcement, something important about our family's property and future." Dad stiffened. Mom grabbed Emily's hand. Emily's smile twitched, like she already knew something wasn't right. Grandma opened the envelope. But before she could speak, Emily shot up from her seat, eyes burning with panic. She grabbed my hair, hard, and yanked me forward so violently I gasped. A scream shot through the hall. She dragged me across the small steps like I was trash on the floor. "You don't belong here," she shrieked. My scalp felt like it was tearing. People froze, watching, not helping. Dad didn't move. Mom covered her mouth, but didn't reach out. They just let it happen because Emily was always their favorite. Emily shoved me off the edge of the stage. My knees hit the floor, pain shooting up my legs. Gasps filled the room. Grandma Nora rushed toward me, pushing through the crowd like a storm. She knelt down beside me, her hands trembling with anger. "Get up, sweetheart," she whispered. "You are coming with me. Right now." I looked up, Emily standing on the stage, shaking with rage and fear. She didn't pull my hair because she was strong. She pulled it because she was scared. Scared of what Grandma was about to reveal. Scared that her years of fraud were seconds away from blowing up. Grandma helped me get up, and as she wrapped her arm around me, she whispered, "Let them celebrate today. Your moment is coming." And as we walked out of that hall, every pair of eyes followed me, wide, confused, and suddenly afraid. Because at that wedding, the girl they ignored had finally become the girl they feared. Grandma Nora drove us away from the wedding hall in silence. I sat beside her, staring out the window, holding the spot on my scalp where Emily had ripped my hair. It still burned, not just from pain, but from humiliation. I replayed it again and again. My sister dragging me by my hair in front of hundreds of guests. My parents watching quietly like it was normal. And then Grandma spoke softly, her voice steady but sharp. "They think they won today." I swallowed hard. I shouldn't have gone. I knew it would get ugly. "No," she said firmly. "You needed to be there. They needed to show you who they really are." I looked at her, at the strength in her old eyes. "They showed the world," she continued. "Their cruelty, their favoritism, their lies. Now we show the truth." I held the envelope she had tried to open at the wedding. Inside were the documents proving everything. All family property, all assets, all rentals still belonged to her, and after her, to me. Emily tried to snatch the moment, to humiliate me before the truth came out. But all she did was make the truth louder. Grandma parked in front of her small white house, the only peaceful place in our family. She took my hand. "Eliana, listen to me. They won't stop. Your sister is desperate now. She knows her lies are collapsing." I nodded. I already knew that. I could see the terror in Emily's eyes at the wedding, the moment she realized Grandma was about to reveal her fraud. "She dragged you by your hair," Grandma said, her voice shaking with anger. "She showed the world her character. Now we show them yours." I frowned. "Which is what?" She smiled gently. Strength.
Proof.
And silence until the perfect moment. I sat beside her on the porch as she explained the plan. Simple, clean, and devastating. Tomorrow morning, we would go to the attorney. Grandma would sign the final confirmation papers. We would alert the county of Emily's forged attempts. We would update all ownership records. And then, we would reveal everything publicly. But not with shouting. Not with drama. Not with hair pulling.
No.
Grandma wanted the truth revealed in their own home, in front of the whole family, calmly, legally, and with no chance for them to deny it. Eliana, she said, squeezing my hand, revenge is never loud. Real revenge is quiet. It walks in holding papers. I let out a shaky breath. For the first time in years, I felt the power shift. No more being the ignored daughter. No more being the quiet one. No more letting Emily take everything because Dad loved her more. Tonight, as I sat in Grandma's living room with her documents spread out on the table, I realized something. Emily didn't hate me because Dad loved her more. Emily hated me because Grandma trusted me more. That was a wound she could never accept. I pressed my hand on the folder filled with the truth. Tomorrow would be the beginning of the end. Not for me.
For them.
I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emily's hand in my hair, her nails scraping my scalp, her voice screaming that I didn't belong. But now, instead of feeling weak, I felt something new. A steady, quiet fire. By morning, Grandma Nora was already dressed and waiting by the door, paperwork in her hand, purse on her shoulder. She looked calm, the kind of calm that comes before a storm you know you're going to win. Eliana, she said as she handed me a coffee. Today is the day we stop hiding. We drove to her attorney's office in downtown Clearwater, a tall, glass building with polished floors and a receptionist who greeted Grandma by name. Everyone loved her. She earned that respect honestly. Not like my parents, not like Emily. We sat across from Attorney Wallace, a calm man with silver hair and eyes that missed nothing. He opened the folder and studied every page.
Deeds.
Trust papers. Ownership confirmations. All valid. All legal. All binding. When he finished, he pushed his glasses up and looked at us. Mrs. Nora, he said, everything is in perfect order. Your granddaughter is the rightful heir. No one can dispute this. A breath I didn't know I was holding finally escaped. Grandma smiled.
Good.
Then let's finalize the filings. He nodded. We'll update the county system today. By tomorrow morning, your family will see the truth themselves. I couldn't help but ask, what about Emily's forged documents? He gave a low hum, flipping through the copies I had shown him. These signatures don't match your grandmother's style. And the dates don't align. If she tried to file these, it's fraud. Simple as that.
Fraud.
Finally, someone said it out loud. After the paperwork was completed, Grandma placed her hand over mine. Eliana, she said softly, you don't need to fight them with anger. The law will fight for you. But anger was there, buzzing under my skin like electricity. Because the more I thought about yesterday, the clearer things became. Emily didn't drag me by the hair because she hated me. She did it because she was terrified of losing everything she stole. Terrified that the quiet daughter, the daughter she always dismissed, had become the real threat. We walked out of the attorney's office, sunlight hitting the pavement like a spotlight. Grandma stopped beside the car. Now, she said, we prepare for tomorrow. What's tomorrow? I asked. Her eyes sparkled with the kind of satisfaction I'd never seen in her before. Your parents invited everyone back to the house for a family update. They think they're announcing Emily as the new owner of the properties. My chest tightened. They're going to announce a lie, I whispered. Grandma nodded slowly. And we're going to walk in with the truth. For a moment, fear crept in. Would my parents scream? Would Emily explode again? Would they throw me out in front of everyone? Grandma touched my cheek gently. You won't be alone this time. And they won't dare touch you again. I believed her. Because behind her small smile, I saw something deadly. A grandmother's fury. She wasn't fighting for money. She was fighting for me. As we drove home, I looked out the window and pictured Emily standing on that wedding stage, confident and smug, believing she had already won. Tomorrow, she would stand in the same spot, but this time, she would watch everything slip out of her hands. And I would be the one holding the papers, the truth, and the power she never thought I'd have. The next afternoon felt heavy, like the air itself knew a storm was coming. Grandma Nora and I drove to my parents' house in silence. My hands were tight around the folder in my lap. Inside it was everything. The trust, the deeds, the recorded filings, the proof Emily tried to bury. And today the world would finally see it. When we pulled into the driveway, cars filled the street, aunts, uncles, cousins, and neighbors. It looked like another celebration. Emily never missed a chance to show off. Inside, guests gathered around the living room where a decorated banner hung on the wall. Whitaker Properties, a new beginning. Emily stood near the center. Perfect curls, perfect makeup, fake confidence. Dad stood next to her, chest puffed out like he owned the world. Mom hovered proudly beside them. The whole family turned when I walked in, Grandma by my side. Someone whispered, "I can't believe she dared to come after yesterday." I ignored it. Emily's smile curved into a smirk. Well, little Miss Dramatic actually showed up. Grandma squeezed my arm gently. "Stay calm," she whispered. "Let them speak first." Dad tapped his glass. "Everyone, thank you for coming. Today we finalize something important. As you all know, our daughter Emily has worked extremely hard for this family. So," he held up a printed folder, "we are officially announcing her as the new full owner of all family properties." Cheers broke out. Cousins clapped. Aunts smiled. Emily looked like she was already measuring her throne. And that's when Grandma stepped forward. "Sit down, Richard." The room went dead silent. Dad blinked.
Mom?
"What are you doing?" Grandma didn't answer him.
She turned to me.
"Eliana, sweetheart, open your folder." My heartbeat thundered in my ears as I stepped onto the small platform, the same spot where Emily had dragged me by my hair yesterday. Not today. Today was mine. I laid the first document on the table, the updated trust. Then the deeds. Then the county confirmations. Gasps rippled through the room. Emily's face drained of color. Dad stepped closer, voice shaking. What is this?" I looked straight at him. "This is the truth you ignored." Mr. Wallace, Grandma's attorney, stepped into the room from behind us. Grandma had brought him quietly. He spoke firmly, louder than Dad could. "Mrs. Nora legally placed all properties into a living trust 3 years ago. Eliana is the sole successor. These deeds," he pointed at the papers, "are recorded, official, and non-reversible." The room erupted. "What? That can't be real." Emily said she already owned them. Emily pushed through the crowd, eyes wild. "She forged this. She tricked Grandma." Mr. Wallace cut her off, calm as ice. "The signature is verified. The notary stamp is recorded. And your attempted filings last month," he held up a separate paper, "were flagged as fraudulent." The room pivoted. Every eye turned to Emily. She panicked. "You're all lying." "Dad, say something." Dad's lips trembled. "Emily, did you forge those papers?" For the first time ever, he didn't defend her. Emily burst into tears, loud, messy, humiliating tears, then charged toward me. "You ruined everything. This should have been mine." But before she could reach me, Grandma Nora stepped in front of me like a shield. Her voice cut through the chaos. "She didn't ruin anything. You did. The day you put your hands on my granddaughter and tried to steal what never belonged to you." The crowd erupted again. Emily froze, trapped, exposed, hated. Mom sank onto a chair, face in her hands. Dad looked like the floor had been pulled out under him. And me? I stood there steady, breathing slowly, finally powerful. Grandma took my hand and raised it slightly, as if declaring a winner. "Eliana is the rightful heir. And if anyone has a problem with that..." She paused, eyes sharp as knives. "You can speak to her attorney." No one spoke. No one even breathed. And in that heavy silence, I realized the truth. Yesterday, Emily dragged me by my hair. Today, she couldn't even stand without falling apart. The reversal had already begun. That same night, after the truth exploded in my parents' living room, everything changed fast. People left the house in silence, some avoiding eye contact, others whispering about Emily's fraud. No music, no celebration, no congratulations, just shock
And fear.
for the first time in my life. Fear wasn't directed at me. It was directed because of me. Grandma Nora and I drove home quietly, but I could feel the shift. This time, I wasn't the forgotten daughter. I was the one holding everything the family had tried to steal. And karma wasn't done yet. Grandma woke me early. Eliana, sweetheart, don't check your phone until after breakfast. Why? She smiled softly. Because your sister's life is falling apart faster than her lies. I checked anyway. I wasn't prepared. Message 1, from Emily's fiancé, Mark. I can't marry someone who commits fraud. The wedding is off. Message 2, from Dad. Please talk to your sister. She's having a breakdown. Message 3, from Mom. Everyone is blaming us. Please help us fix this. Message 4, from an unknown number, IRS automated message. Action required. Suspicious activity detected. My eyes widened. Grandma, the IRS? She nodded calmly, sipping her tea as if this was routine. Yes, sweetheart. Emily claimed property expenses and business deductions illegally. When she tried to transfer ownership using forged papers, it triggered an audit. I stared at her. You knew this would happen? She smiled gently. I warned them for years to stop misusing money. They didn't listen. Now the government will make them listen. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. Later that day, the family collapses. I went for a walk, needing air. Halfway down the street, my phone rang, Dad. I picked up. His voice was nothing like the strong, loud father I grew up with. It was tired, shaken, beaten. Eliana, please come home.
We need you.
You needed me yesterday, I said quietly. When Emily dragged me by my hair in front of everyone. When Mom let her do it. When you told the world she deserved everything. He exhaled shakily. I know. And I'm sorry. But everything is falling apart. Because you built everything on a lie. He didn't deny it. For the first time, he couldn't. Emily is locked in her room, he whispered. Her fiancé left her. The IRS froze her checking account. Your mother is hysterical. And then he said the one sentence that sealed everything. Eliana, we need your help. You're the only one who can fix this. I closed my eyes. This was the moment I had waited for my entire life. The moment the quiet daughter finally had something more powerful than tears or anger. Respect they couldn't fake anymore. But respect wasn't enough. I wanted peace. My help comes with one condition, I said slowly. Dad swallowed. Anything. You will never treat Emily like a princess again. And you will never treat me like a mistake. Silence. Then, I promise. But it was too late for promises. I ended the call. By evening, the final strike. Grandma handed me a file. The county updated the ownership records, she said proudly. All 8 properties are officially under your name. I stared at the papers, the weight of everything hitting me. This wasn't just revenge. This was justice. Grandma placed her hands gently on my shoulders. They tried to take your future. Now you take their past. What do I do now? I asked. She smiled. Whatever you want. That night, I sat on the porch, reading the final email. Emily must pay back every illegal deduction, plus penalties, plus interest. It was enough to crush her financially for years. My hands didn't shake, not even once. This wasn't cruelty. This was balance. Everything she stole, everything she lied about, everything Dad defended, was coming back to her. And, for the first time in 29 years, I didn't feel guilty. I felt powerful. By the next morning, the entire neighborhood knew. I stepped outside for fresh air and saw Mrs. Henson from across the street whispering to her husband, both staring at me like I had turned into some kind of legend overnight. They weren't wrong. Grandma's announcement had blown up everything my parents spent years building around Emily, and most people agreed they had brought it on themselves. I had barely finished my coffee when Grandma's front door shook with loud, frantic knocking. I knew that knock. It was Mom. Grandma called out from the kitchen, voice steady. "Eliana, do not open that door unless you want to." I didn't want to, so I didn't. But Mom didn't leave. Instead, she started crying loudly right there on the porch. "Eliana, please. You can't do this to your sister. She's suffering." I stood inside, arms crossed. A day ago, they dragged me by my hair in front of a full crowd. Now Mom wanted sympathy? I opened the door, just enough for her to see my face. "What do you want?" Mom's mascara was smeared, eyes swollen. "It's Emily, she fainted. She won't come out of her room."
She's not eating.
Her fiancé left. The IRS froze everything. Please help her." Her voice cracked into full sobs. I didn't move. I didn't hug her. I didn't soften. "Mom," I said calmly, "Emily is dealing with the consequences of her own fraud. Not mine. She made a mistake." Mom cried. "No," I replied, voice sharp. "She made a plan. A plan to erase me, steal my future, and take what wasn't hers." Mom opened her mouth, but nothing came out. For once, she had no excuse. He came walking up the driveway slowly, shoulders hunched, looking 10 years older. "Eliana, can we talk?" Grandma stepped beside me, folding her arms. "Richard, if you raise your voice at her again, I'll throw you off this porch myself." Dad sighed. "I'm not here to fight. I need to understand." "You want to understand?" I said quietly. "Let me help you." I walked back inside and came out holding the folder Grandma gave me weeks ago. Inside it were the photos. The photos of Emily's forged signatures. The deleted texts she sent to the fake notary. The receipts she tried to hide. The bank screenshots showing illegal transfers. Dad's eyes widened. He took the folder from me with shaking hands. This is all real?" "Every word," I answered. "And I reported it before she could bury it." He closed his eyes, breathing hard. "How did we not see she could do something like this?" "Because you never saw me." I didn't say it out loud. I didn't need to. Dad already understood. He handed the folder back to me like it was burning his skin. "Eliana,
I'm sorry."
for everything." I nodded once. "I know, but apology didn't erase what they did." By afternoon, Emily finally called me. Her voice was broken, shaky, almost whispering. "Eliana, please, I need you." "You needed me last night," I said. "And you pulled my hair instead." She started crying, real crying this time. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just scared, the wedding, the pressure, Mom and Dad, everything just—" "Stop," I interrupted. "You didn't lose control. You showed who you truly are." Silence. Then she whispered the one line she never said in her whole life. "I'm not the favorite anymore." I exhaled slowly. "You never should have been." Then I hung up and blocked her. For good. By the end of the week, Emily's fiancé returned the engagement ring to her mailbox. The IRS called again, this time scheduling a full audit. Her boss suspended her for ethics review. Her best friends suddenly stopped replying. Her bank account stayed frozen. And Mom sent me a final message. "Your revenge is complete. Are you happy now?" I smiled. This wasn't revenge. This was balance. She received what she earned. I received what I deserved. While Emily's world crumbled, mine finally opened. Investors emailed me. People wanted to buy the properties from me. 2 companies offered partnership contracts. Tenants praised my management. For the first time in my life, I was not the other daughter. I was not backup. I was not invisible. I was the owner, the successor, the one Grandma believed in, the one who won without lifting a finger in anger. And on Friday night, as I watched the city lights from Grandma's porch, I realized something powerful. Revenge is loud, justice is quiet, and victory is silent. 3 days passed. The storm settled over the family, but the damage stayed. Every morning, I woke up to quiet, a kind of peace I had never known growing up. No yelling, no guilt messages, no demands for money, just silence, the good kind. But I knew one thing. My family wasn't done yet. They never quit when they want something. And right now, they wanted me. Not for love, not for healing, not for reconciliation. They wanted access. To money.
To properties.
To the future they thought belonged to Emily. So when Grandma Nora told me, "Eliana, your parents have been sitting in the driveway for 2 hours," I wasn't surprised, just tired. I stepped outside and saw them waiting by their car, Mom leaning against the door, Dad pacing like he was practicing a speech. When they saw me, Mom rushed forward, tears already falling. "Eliana, please listen." "No," I said firmly. "I'm done listening. You had 29 years. Dad stopped pacing. "Eliana," he said quietly, "we lost everything this week. The IRS, the wedding, the embarrassment. Emily is," he swallowed, "broken." I stayed silent. Let him continue. "We just want a chance to make things right. Please come home. Please talk to us. We want to fix this family." I stared at both of them. My whole life flashed across my mind. The ignored birthdays, the favoritism, the laughter when Emily pushed me out of the picture, the bruises on my scalp from her ripping my hair, their silence, their pride when she humiliated me, their disappointment when I simply existed. Fix the family? There was nothing left to fix. I took a slow breath. You didn't lose your family this week. You lost control. That's what hurts you. Mom wiped her tears, shaking. "We love you." "No," I cut in softly. "If you loved me, you wouldn't have let your other daughter drag me by my hair across a dance floor." Mom froze. Dad lowered his head. I continued. "You didn't defend me. You didn't stop her. You didn't even check if I was okay." They had no response. They knew the truth. I stepped closer, voice calm but sharp like a clean blade. "You chose Emily. You protected her lies. You covered her fraud. You ignored her cruelty. And now," I added, "you get to live with her decisions." Dad finally spoke. "What about us, Eliana? Is there any chance left?" I looked at him, really looked. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing but clarity. "You too can fix your life," I said. "But you don't get to use mine to repair yours." Mom broke again. "Eliana, please don't shut us out." I shook my head. "I'm not shutting you out. I'm just not letting you walk in anymore." Their faces fell, understanding hitting them like cold water.
They weren't losing me.
They had already lost me years ago. "I'm moving in with Grandma for a while," I said. "I'm restructuring the rentals, meeting new tenants, and building something you can't interfere with anymore." Dad whispered. "So this is it?" "This is boundaries," I replied. Mom reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "I'm not punishing you," I said softly. "I'm protecting myself." The sentence sliced deeper than any revenge could. Dad nodded slowly. Mom sobbed into her hands. They finally understood. The daughter they ignored became the woman they needed, but could no longer reach. They walked back to the car silently. Before Dad opened the door, he turned one last time. "We really did fail you, didn't we?" I didn't smile. I didn't soften. I just answered honestly. "You didn't fail me. You taught me everything I needed to survive without you." He closed the door. They drove away. And unlike every other time in my life, I didn't watch the car disappear. I turned around and went back inside, to a home where I finally belonged, to the woman who always believed in me, to the future I earned,
To the peace I deserved.
The past was over. And this time, I never looked back. For the first time in years, I woke up without a knot in my chest. No guilt, no fear, no pressure to be the good daughter. Just the warm morning sunlight slipping through Grandma Nora's curtains, and the quiet feeling that my life finally belonged to me. Grandma was already in the kitchen when I came down. She always woke before sunrise, habit from a lifetime of early workdays and raising kids who never appreciated her.
She smiled when she saw me.
Sleep well, sweetheart? I nodded.
Yes.
It felt different. Safer. She poured me coffee and sat across from me. That's what happens, she said gently, when toxic people lose access to your heart. I took a slow sip, letting her words settle like warm honey. What happens now? I finally asked. Grandma tapped her fingers thoughtfully on the table. Now, she said, you rebuild. You decide who you are without their noise. It sounded simple. It wasn't. But it was the first time anyone had ever told me I got to choose. Around noon, I drove to the county records office with the fireproof folder in my lap. Walking through the doors felt surreal. These were the halls where people fought for ownership, land, businesses, futures. And here I was, holding 8 properties legally tied to my name. The clerk scanned the documents, eyes widening at the signatures, the dates, the stamps. Everything looks valid, she said. Congratulations, Miss Carter. You're the recorded owner of all 8. For a moment, I couldn't speak. The girl who once cried because her parents forgot her birthday was now the legal owner of her family's entire real estate empire. And the best part? They couldn't change it. Not through guilt. Not through pressure. Not through manipulation. Not through love they never gave. I spent the next 2 days touring every property with Grandma. 8 rental homes spread across the city, all needing a firm hand and honest management. Tenants were surprised to see me. Most had only dealt with Ryan. One tenant, Mrs. Blake, a single mother, told me. He kept saying repairs were too expensive, but everything kept breaking. I inspected the house myself. Leaking pipes, broken railing, faded paint. He charged you for repairs he never made, I said softly. Her eyes filled with relief. Are things going to change now? Yes, I told her. Starting today. I hired a new maintenance crew on the spot. Women-owned, verified, and honest. Within a week, the homes looked better than they had in years. Tenants hugged me. Some cried. One even baked me cookies. For the first time, I felt something I didn't grow up with. Respect. Not forced. Not fake. Not conditional. Real respect, earned by doing the right thing. Mornings with Grandma. Afternoons running property checks. Evenings reviewing contracts. Nights planning expansions. My days were full, but the best kind of full. Grandma would shake her head proudly. Eliana, honey, you're becoming everything they try to stop you from being. I smiled every time, because she was right. One afternoon, Grandma called me into the living room. When you're ready, she said softly, I want you to have this. She handed me a small silver key. What's this? The old blue house on Magnolia Street. I always hoped you'd live in it one day. I stared at it, speechless. A home. My home. Not a place borrowed from parents who didn't love me. Not a room I survived in. Not an apartment I cried in. A house given to me by the only person who ever saw my worth. Grandma, I don't know what to say. Say you'll build something good there, she whispered. I hugged her, tight, grateful, holding on to the only love that never lied to me. That night, I drove to the Magnolia Street house alone. I walked through the empty rooms. The hardwood floors creaked softly. The windows were dusty. The walls needed paint. But it was mine. A space without shouting. A space without cruelty. A space without jealousy. A space without being pulled by my hair in front of strangers. A space where Emily, Mom, and Dad had zero authority. I stood in the middle of the living room and whispered to myself, this is the life they never wanted me to have. And I smiled, because I was finally living it. A month passed. A whole month without a single scream, guilt trip, or demand from Mom. A whole month without Emily pretending she was better than me. A whole month without Dad choosing peace over protecting me. It was the quietest month of my life. And the happiest. I had moved into Grandma's blue house on Magnolia Street, painted the walls soft cream, filled the rooms with sunlight, bought new furniture piece by piece, not fancy, just mine. Every night I sat on the porch, listening to the city hum. No one pulling my hair. No one calling me dramatic. No one erasing me from my own family. Just peace. Real peace. The kind you feel deep in your bones. One night, as I sat with a cup of tea, my phone buzzed. It was Dad. After weeks of silence, I already knew what this meant. The last attempt. I answered. His voice was soft, tired. Eliana, your mom wants to apologize. Emily too. They miss you. I closed my eyes. A younger version of me would have broken, would have begged, would have run home. But not anymore. Not after everything. Dad, I said quietly, I don't hate any of you, but I'm not coming back. He exhaled like he already knew the answer. So, this is really goodbye? No, I said. It's not goodbye. It's a boundary. A boundary you should have set for Emily years ago. He didn't argue. He didn't defend her. He didn't blame me. Maybe for the first time he saw me. Eliana, he whispered, I hope you find happiness. I already have. I ended the call and blocked the number. Not out of anger. Out of closure. 2 weeks later, the news reached me. Emily quit her job. Her fiancé moved to another city. The IRS finalized her penalties. Social media dragged her after someone leaked the truth about the fraud. Her life collapsed exactly the way she tried to collapse mine. But I didn't smile. Revenge wasn't the satisfying part. Freedom was. One morning, I placed Grandma's fireproof folder on the shelf and realized something important. I didn't replay the inheritance scene in my head anymore. I didn't hear Emily screaming. I didn't feel my father's silence. I didn't feel my mother's disappointment. I felt nothing, because they no longer controlled any part of my life. I walked outside and locked the Magnolia Street door. A door that belonged to me. A life that belonged to me. A future that belonged to me. I wasn't the weak daughter anymore. I wasn't the forgotten sister. I wasn't the backup plan. I was the owner, the successor, the woman Grandma believed in, the woman I finally became. And as the sun rose over the street, warm and quiet, I finally understood. Sometimes the biggest revenge is choosing yourself and never looking back.